Hello and welcome to Love Samantha Lee, More Than Just Pretty podcast. I'm your host, Samantha, and here we explore love, life, spirituality, and relationships through the lens of real beauty. The kind that begins the moment you decide to be unapologetically yourself. Join us as we dive into heartfelt discussions that challenge, inspire, and connect. Ready to embrace your true self? Let's begin. What's up, family? I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are doing well. There's a couple topics that have kind of come up in my mind what to talk about for this week. And I think I'm just going to run with this one and see where God takes me. So Lord, Holy Spirit, let me ride with me, Lord. Give me the words that I need to speak today. So, today you guys, I want to talk about something that I did last night. I did a live on my YouTube. And this live was of a young woman who was basically outing her date on TikTok because he took her to Starbucks and she felt that she was deserving of more. And her reasons were of that was because of how she looks. And I've talked about this a lot of times. I mean, the name of my podcast is Pound Sign More Than Just Pretty. So I've already stated how much I dislike how today's culture hyper fixates on appearances. Part of why I did a podcast where I'm not recording my face with it is because I wanted my message, my words to resonate. Because I think that, well, I like my mind. I like the way that I think. And I wanted to share that as well. And not my physical or my outer shell to get in the way of my message. And so I'm talking about this particular video because what I want to talk about is why do people feel the need to post everything? I mean, I listen, y'all. I've seen more and more videos like this where women are talking about what the dates, they're doing TikToks, talking about their past relationships, they're outing their exes, they're outing their marriages, they're just, I mean, everybody is taking to these platforms in order to put somebody on blast. And I really don't understand why we do it. Now, there's certain situations where I feel it's necessary and there's an appropriate way of going about it. Where you go legal and illegal gets exposed and people see it through that lens. And because it's official, it's paperwork, it's a paper trail, it's something that, it's real. Can I, what I'm saying? It's real. Well, no, let me say that again. It's not that it's real, it's official because somebody can file a legal case against you and it doesn't have to be real. It's all allegations until you're convicted, but it's real. There's an investigation. There's going to be a trial. We're going to get all the facts. We can then make a decision. It's real. Whereas on this social media platform, people just take to Twitter, take to Instagram, take to TikTok, take to all these different things. And I was thinking about it yesterday as I saw this young lady who was trying to embarrass her date, but really embarrass herself because she was trying so hard to do evil. And I believe this, you guys. I believe this with all of my mind, all of my being, all of my heart, soul, my entire being, that you reap what you sow in this life. You reap what you sow. The Bible says, do not be deceived. I actually said this to somebody last night. Do not be deceived. Do not be deceived. Where is it? The whole thing. God is not mocked. For whatever a man sows, this he will also reap. I believe that, you guys. And sometimes it happens quicker than you would anticipate. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time, but you will sow. I mean, you will reap what you've sown. So I see this young lady, and of course, she was trying to sow evil by trying to out this guy, and then she reaps evil because she's embarrassed on the internet. There you go. But I wanted to get a little deeper than that. I wanted to talk about the drug of validation. The drug of validation. We have a lot of, because of our social media society and where we are today. I don't think that enough people know how to validate themselves, including me. I'm not going to say I'm perfect at this. It's something I'm learning, that because validation is a post and how many likes you get on the post, or does your post go viral? Is your message resonating? Um, it's determined by other people. And I've known young women that will post a picture of themselves that they think is gonna get them. And because they get 5, 10, 15 likes, whatever they're accustomed to, and it doesn't really hit the way they want it to hit, they start questioning whether or not they're actually attractive. They start questioning themselves. I know even in my own world with creating content, there's messages that I'll post and I'm like, oof, this a real one. This a real message. And it may get, fewer impressions than what I anticipate. And I could question like, well, maybe that wasn't a message, especially in the beginning, y'all. I was like, what am I, when I'm trying to figure out who I am and what my voice is, I allowed a lot of what feedback I was receiving to determine whether or not it was successful. And in the process of doing all of this stuff, I've had to learn how to validate me. That even there's been times where I've posted something that I felt very strongly about. And in the moment, it might have gotten less impressions or less feedback than I anticipated. But then a couple weeks later, it skyrockets. And I realize, okay, maybe in that moment it was what it was, but now it's something different. But I've had to learn in this process how to validate myself. That when I do something that I believe in, I've got to validate me. That if I feel like I look good, I'm going to tell myself I look good before anybody else does. I think that because we are growing up in a generation that does not know how to validate themselves, they are dependent on external to fulfill the internal. We have a lot of broken people that are trying to fill themselves with outside opinions and approvals and perspectives. And we find ourselves seeking and seeking and seeking more and more and more, understanding that we are broken cisterns. Not understanding that we are broken cisterns that cannot hold water. That if we just continue to fulfill ourselves with external, we will never fulfill our internal. It will never be enough. The dollar amount will never be enough. The likes will never be enough. The DMs will never be enough. The viral moments will never be enough. It will never be enough. Why? Because external was never meant, nor was it created to fulfill internal. It was meant to distract us, keep us from understanding what our internal needs.
Big shout out to you for making it through the hectic holiday season. This new year, get clean, quality, pregnancy nutrient support off your to-do list, including Ritual's best-selling Essential Prenatal Multivitamin, designed with 12 traceable key ingredients to support a healthy pregnancy. With big changes coming up, take the small steps now and start today with 30% off a 3-month supply at ritual.com/podcast. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
In order to move forward, in order to progress, in order to successfully navigate through life, we have to learn how to validate ourselves. But we have instead, as a generation, got hooked up on this drug called validation. We don't even realize it. We don't even realize it. I went on a vacation recently. I went on this cruise, y'all, and it was fun. Had a great time. I went with my group, women's group that I created it's a few years ago. And we all went, well, not all of us, but whoever could came. It was about 11, 12 of us. And we were going to the little hot spot club they had in the spot. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling on myself, but hey, I got a message. There's a message coming in. And we going in and they playing music and the DJ was hit or miss. I ain't gonna lie. Some days he was overly trying to show that he could mix music together. I felt like, okay, you could let that song rock. Okay, you could have just played it all the way through. But he didn't. So we in the spot, and a lot of the music that they were playing that was current I was not familiar with, because if you've heard me speak live, or if you've heard me on different shows or platforms, I've always talked about how I really try to listen to mostly gospel, because I've learned that music has a spirit, right? Music has a spirit. And I prove this point because I can tell you that some people, you can listen to a song and it reminds you of a time, or makes you sad, or makes you happy. Or you can go on YouTube right now and type in happy music, or sad music, or peace music, or focus music. And there's music that they will play that will help you feel, think, do whatever you want it to do, because music is a spirit. Music has an energy. Music has a power, right? So we in this club, they're playing different music, and they're playing current music I haven't heard before. And when I tell you guys, I come on here and I tell y'all about how, like, certain things are happening, and I'm not happy about it. How women are presenting themselves and thinking it's all about how they look and their sexual performance, and how we're not necessarily conducting ourselves in a way that's conducive to being considered in any way seriously, or to be considered seriously as someone's girlfriend, nor as somebody's wife. And I'm listening to this music and I'm like, well, no wonder. No wonder. The songs, now, some of the songs, obviously, you can't, you're familiar with, I already knew. Some of these songs I had never heard before, but every young person on that dance floor, white, black, Indian, Asian, they was out there, they're dropping it, throwing it, doing whatever they knew how to do, okay, according to their capacity and their ability. And I'm watching and I'm like, no wonder. No wonder. No wonder we're dealing with some of the things that we're dealing with. No wonder. Have you listened to the lyrics of the song? The one thing I will say about each one is extremely vulgar, and it's all sexual. All of it. Most of the female music artists that they were playing, I'm not gonna name names because I don't rock like that. But the female musicians that they were playing, that these young people were familiar with, it was all vulgar and sexual. I mean, vulgar, explicit, sexual. That was it. Playing dudes. I don't want to listen to nobody. Just stubborn energy. It was just, that was all that it was about. And I'm like, well, no wonder we're raising up a generation that men are writing me about constantly, that I'm noticing in the posts that I'm seeing, even the posts that I posted, that I referred to earlier, that I discussed on live on YouTube, how young women are acting. And I'm saying to myself, there's a deeper thing going on here. I saw a statistic about how, you know, they're saying that black and brown people have the highest rates of divorce, but yet the lowest rates of marriage. And I'm saying, okay, well, it's crazy because our influences, most of them are presenting themselves or singing music or putting out music that resonates with singledom. It's not really about romantic falling in love relationships. It's about single, moving around, how to use dudes, how to use women. It's a deeper thing going on here. And we can act like it's oh, it's not happening. I don't see it, blah blah blah. No, but it is, family. Let me tie this back to validation. A lot of, and I'm not saying this about every artist, but people do what sells, right? People do, especially when it comes to music. If you're trying to make any kind of money or get any type of notoriety, you're going to sing what's given, or you're going to rap what you're given, unless you're certain artists that are above that at this point. You're going to do what sells. Your validation comes from the sales. So I'm not even going to blame the artists, because the artists are doing what they've been given to do in order to sell. But then it just starts the chain. It starts the chain. And I don't even know if that starts the chain. Something else starts the chain that brings that to the chain that then influences a whole group of people in a way that is can be seen as disastrous for our community. And I bring it back to validation because I think ultimately, because we are seeking validation from our peers, social media, want to be seen doing what's cool. We now are seeing that, okay, money, which money has always been, but money is the ultimate goal here, being wealthy at any cost, no matter what it takes, no matter what I do. And we've made certain ways to get money not bad because it's all about just getting money, no matter how it comes to you or how you get it. It's about having that money. And we've just, I mean, and that's what's being socialized. And so you see people that are doing these things and thinking that is cute and thinking that is cool because they getting money, because they're getting attention, because those are the two biggest forms of validation currency today, attention and money. And I'm going deeper than I want to get, but I'm just noticing a sense of brokenness regardless. That even in the moments where they look like they're happy, they're sad. You can see it in their eyes. When they do interviews, it's, some people, it just seems like they're not. Some just seem like they taking so many drugs, they numb in any given moment. You're not getting any type of range of emotion. But they're being validated because they're putting certain things out and they're getting something back. And I look at different interviews and different things, and I'm seeing how the validation that we seek every single time, it's never worth it. It's never worth it. It's gonna make me emotional because I remember being young. I'm younger. I know I'm not old. I talk like I'm much older than I am, but I remember being younger and just trying to seek validation from relationships. I remember just going from, being in one long-term relationship to another long-term relationship and still dealing with a lot of brokenness and always feeling like the whatever I was receiving from that person was never enough. And I had to learn on the backside that it wasn't necessarily them, it was me. I was a broken cistern that couldn't hold water. And I hadn't learned, although I said I was, in my faith, I said all these things, I didn't understand that if I didn't have an active relationship with my God and actively affirm myself and, spend that time feeding my spirit versus just feeding my flesh, I was always going to be hungry. And what we've validated, what we've given our attention and our money to is people that are seeking validation in unhealthy ways. Oh, because, all these guys are liking these photos and they liking these girls. I'm going to go ahead and go put myself underneath the knife because this is what men are liking on social media. Not necessarily being able to say to yourself, hey, listen, you look good as you. You being able to tell yourself you look good, not seeing, oh, well, she's being validated by them. And because she's being validated by them, I need to look like her to be validated by those same people. We don't have enough of that. We don't have enough people being able to sow into themselves and say, you know what? No, you are doing a good job. No, no, no. You are making enough money. No, no, no. Whatever, you are a good mother. You are a beautiful woman. You don't have to go about it this way. You don't have to get the dollar that way. You don't have to present yourself in this manner to get the likes and the attention that you desire, because we don't have enough people that have been taught to validate themselves and understanding that we were never created to continue to fulfill ourselves with superficial external things. The verse that comes up in my mind, I'm gonna say it because it's on the top of my head. And here we go. Jeremiah 2:13 says this: "For my people have committed two evils. They have abandoned, rejected me, the fountain of living water, and they have carved out their own cisterns, broken cisterns that cannot hold water." I'm going to say it again. "For my people have committed two evils. They have abandoned, rejected me, the fountain of living water, and they have carved out their own cisterns, broken cisterns that cannot hold water." Our generation, what I saw and what I've experienced, and from the first video that I referenced in this podcast to what I saw in the club on that cruise, is that a lot of us are lost. And it's easy to get lost. Social media, just having the ability to get lost in the privacy of your own home, it's easy to get lost. It's easy to get distracted. And to make this or bring this into present so that it's not so deep and that you're like, okay, Sam, I don't know where you are right now. When the Bible says, "For my people have committed two evils, they've abandoned me, they have rejected me, they have," basically we're not spending our time with God. We're not investing in our relationship with our Creator. We're not feeding our own spirit. We're not affirming ourselves. We're not taking that time. We're instead getting lost in the things of this world to try to fulfill us, getting the good job, making the right money, getting in the right relationship, getting the best man, getting the best woman, having the family, having the children. We're allowing all these societal benchmarks to be our validation. And in Jeremiah 2:13, that's the second evil. That I've rejected what God wants for me and the path that He has for me. That isn't what society tells me. It isn't the benchmarks they put before me. This is deeper than that. I've been created for a purpose, on purpose, for a purpose. And my purpose, my benchmarks are there when I'm supposed to get there. It's not about what society says, whether if I don't have a baby now, I have a baby at 40, or I have a baby at 45, whatever that is for you. I know a lot of women, they're looking at themselves and they rush into relationships because they want to have the family and want to have the baby. They're in their mid-30s or they're close to 40, and they say to themselves, oh goodness, or in their 40s or in their 50s, and they're alone and they're feeling like I haven't made it. Everybody around me has this. So if society is telling me that I should have had this, now I feel like a failure. When only time we fail, y'all, I gotta stand up. The only time we fail is when we abandon purpose. When we abandon our first love, which is the Creator that created us for a purpose. That's when we fail. That's when we fall short. It's not about whether you have the baby at the right time. It's not about if you make the right amount of money at the right time. It's not about whether you get to wherever you're trying to go, whether you had the failed marriage or not, whether you feel like you failed as a parent or not, whether you are exactly where you thought you should be, whether your family asks you over and over again, when you gonna get married, when you go find him, when are you gonna do this, when are you going to that. It's not about what the world has defined as your benchmarks. The only person that is able to define your benchmarks, when you're supposed to come, when you're supposed to leave, when you're supposed to get to the next level, the only person, the only being that's able to say whether you've made it or you haven't, whether you failed or whether you have succeeded, is our God. And because we have rejected him, We've carved out cisterns. And what are those cisterns? Oh, I'm going to make just enough money and then I'm going to settle down. I'm going to get this, that, and the third out the way. And then I'm going to get to whatever God's called me to do. I'm going to make a cistern of, I want to be validated physically. I'm going to do that in carving out my own cistern. That's how I'll be validated, because the world sees me as beautiful. I'm going to carve out my own cistern because I'm going to be traveling and doing all this stuff because that's what the world thinks is cool. I'm going to drive this car. I'm going to overextend myself to drive this car because that's what the world wants me to do. I'm going to live in this house that's way beyond my means because I'm carving out my own system for myself. And that's what the world sees as success. I'm going to get married when I know I'm not ready because that's what the world is saying that's right. But that's my own. I'm carving out this cistern. And if we keep on carving out cisterns that have nothing to do with the only cistern that fulfills us. Because the first part that he said, 2 evils. First is rejecting me. The second is carving out your own cistern and thinking that's going to fulfill you. Some of us don't understand that the reason why we don't feel fulfilled, the reason why there's still a little bit of emptiness, the reason why even though we may have made it in the world's eyes, we still don't feel like we've made it, is because we've carved out our own cistern. Broken cisterns that were never meant to hold water. And I know this one's deep. But the reason why you don't feel like you're enough, no matter how far you've gone, no matter how successful you may be, because I don't know who's listening to this, it's because you carved out your own cistern. A broken cistern that was never meant to hold water. Family, you were created on purpose, for a purpose. Every person listening to me. And I know that what life looks like for you, just like it looks like for me sometimes, it's discouraging because you want to be somewhere where you're not. We define success a certain way. Maybe we haven't reached that yet. And as long as we keep looking to there, that's when I'm going to feel like I'm good enough. That's when I'm going to feel like I'm successful. There always will be a new there. We'll never feel like we've made it. We'll never feel like we're here. And so when I see a lot of the things and hear a lot of the things, it comes back down to this one principle. The drug of validation. Trying to find our validation in people, social media, likes, comments, follows, money, relationships, family, status. We're trying so hard to find our validation in a broken cistern that was never meant to hold water. Some of us are in situations now. We know we're miserable. We know we ain't happy. We know there's something inside of us that desires more. Or we should be here. We should be doing this. There's this internal pressure, this feeling that we're not where we should be. That's because our world, we can see what everybody doing at any given time. And it's readily available to us to make us feel like no matter where we are in life, I don't care who we are, where we are, there's always somebody that's a little bit ahead of us. And because that spirit of comparison steals and kills joy. Because even when you can look at somebody and be like, you know what, she's right there. There's somebody that person's looking at like, dang, I wish I was where she was at. Or I wish where he was at. Even though somebody may be looking at you saying, I wish I was where you are at. A lot of this comes down to us rejecting the plan of our Creator, rejecting our Creator the benchmarks he set for us, the plan he has for us, because he's sovereign. And as long as we go rogue and do our own thing and try to find validation in this world, we'll be carving out broken cisterns. Broken cisterns that cannot hold water. I'm going to repeat that verse again. For my people have committed two evils. They have abandoned, rejected me, the fountain of living water, and they have carved out their own cisterns, broken cisterns that cannot hold water. Jeremiah 2:13. Thank you for spending your time with us on Love Samantha Lee, the More Than Just Pretty podcast. It's been a privilege to share the space with you where we celebrate being unapologetically ourselves. I hope today's episode has encouraged you to embrace your own unique beauty and the beauty in others. Don't forget to follow us and join our community on social media. Share your journey and your insights, and let's continue this conversation. Until next time, remember, real beauty starts with being true to yourself. Love you, family. I'll talk to you soon.